His comments reads as follows: if Goku hadn't suffered his head injury as a child, when he came to Earth, do you think the influence of Grandpa Gohan and the rest of the Earthlings would have turned him good anyway, or do you think Goku would have fulfilled his mission and enslaved the Earth? Honestly, man, as corny and lame and predictable as this may seem and appear, I do honestly believe that if he hadn't hit his head, he would have done the same shit that Raditz and Vegeta and the other Saiyans were doing, what he was originally meant to do, and that was to enslave the Earth. I think him being hit on his head, whatever it did, it messed up the impulse, the natural impulse that he would have had to destroy. It messed that up, and then obviously he was able to have some sense of rationale, and of course being raised by not Black Goku, Grandpa Gohan, of course helped. Yeah, so hands down, I believe if he hadn't hit his head, he would have done just what the other Saiyans did. I know the direction they would go to try to make him seem like he's just different. You know how they do that, where it's like, oh, everybody from one group is all the same, but then this other person is just completely different for no reason at all. I don't think that route was intended for Goku. Of course, he's the main character of the show. He's always he's the flagship of Dragon Ball, but I still don't believe that he was just made to be different just to be different. I think there was a reason why it was written and put in there for us that he hit his head. It wasn't just like, oh, he came to Earth and then all of a sudden just had the impulse not to kill and enslave the rest of the planet like the other Saiyans. I don't think it would have went down like that. So I still believe if Grandpa Gohan wasn't an influence as well as the other Earthlings, and if he hadn't hit his head, yeah, I totally believe Goku would have been just like the others, would have enslaved the Earth, and he would just be another low-class Saiyan doing what low-class Saiyans were doing. I honestly believe that. Of course, that is just my opinion, my thoughts. I thought this was a really great question because I've always wanted to see Goku in a light where he wasn't necessarily evil like Black Goku, but in a way where he was different from what we've known him for. Because of course he's always the good guy, he always wants to fight for good, and there's nothing wrong with that. Of course I'm always going to be for that, but I would have liked to see how he would have been perhaps if he was under the influence of Raditz and the other Saiyans. I would have just liked to see how his personality and how his demeanor would be around other Saiyans that weren't like the Goku that we know here today. I still would have liked to see that, and like I said, Black Goku is technically Zamasu, so that really doesn't count. Of course he's in Goku's body, but it's still Zamasu's personality to me. It's not actually Goku's personality, so that doesn't really count to me. So I would have liked to see that, but like I said, that's just my thoughts, and like I said, I definitely still believe if he hadn't hit his head, he would have been like every other Saiyan, would have enslaved the planet. But of course it's just my thoughts. You guys of course let me know your thoughts and opinions on this matter in regards to Black Goku. I'm not Black, I always want to say Black Goku in regards to Goku, because we're dealing with Black Goku, or we were at least, in regards to whether or not he would have enslaved the planet if he hadn't hit his head and had obviously the influence of the Earthlings and Grandpa Gohan. You let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Of course, looking forward to reading and replying to those of you that do leave your comments and thoughts. So that's going to do it.